All right, continuing with circles. Today we're going to talk about arc length and sector area. So what I want you to think about is pizza crust. So arc length is the pizza crust and sector area is the pizza sauce. Okay, so think about those things. All right, so we're going to start out with talking about arc length, which is your pizza crust, okay? So pizza sauce represents area and pizza crust will represent your circumference. So remember, area is pi r squared and circumference is 2 pi r. All right, so please keep in mind previously we learned that arc measure was in degrees, so the measure of this arc is 60 degrees. However, how far is it from R to S? So that would be length. So today we're going to discuss the length. So we're going to say it is 7 centimeters. So there's two ways to measure an arc. We can measure it by the degrees. So what's the turn? It's a 60-degree turn. Or what's the distance? It's 7 centimeters. All right, so what is the length of arc CD? So I want to know how far is it from here to here? So if I was walking, how far did I have to walk to go from here all the way around to here? So what you do is you're going to use the thought of a part over a whole equals a part over a whole. And you're going to use this proportion. Okay, that's why we did proportions a while ago. The arc measure, it's the measure of this angle, because remember it's the same. So this is going to be 120 over 360 equals the arc length, I'm just going to use an L, over the circumference. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go circumference is 2 pi r. So that would be 2 pi times 5. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to write 2 pi times 5. So now this is exactly the same proportions we just did a second ago, okay? We're going to cross multiply, so 360 times L equals 120 times 2 times 5, which is 10. So 120 times 10 is 1200, and we still have pi. We haven't done anything with it. Now you're going to divide by 360. So we get that L is 2, oops, not 2, 10 over 3 pi, sorry, wrong problem. 10 over 3 pi. You want to make sure when you put this in your calculator that you reduce it so that you get the reduced fraction. Please don't give me any decimals today. So length is 10 over 3 pi. And that's all you have to do to find the length. Just follow this formula right here and we'll write it over each time. Number 2, find the length of the arc that goes from A to B. Well, from this A around to B is 270. So 360 minus 270 is 90. So that means this is a 90-degree angle. So this is a 90-degree arc. So remember the formula is the measure of the arc over 360. So part over whole equals the length over circumference, 2 pi 4. So cross multiply, 360 times L, 360L equals, now we've got 90 times 2 times 4. So 90 times 2 times 4 is 720 pi, because pi is still there. Divide both sides by 360. 720 divided by 360 is 2. Pi is still there. So your answer is 2 pi centimeters. So 2 pi centimeters. Okay, number 3. Find the length of NM. So from here to here, I want to know the length. So again, they've given me the larger arc is 240. So I know there's 360 altogether. Minus 240 is 120. So this is 120 degrees. All right, so we know the formula is the arc over 360. Okay, so the arc over 360 is the length over 2 pi r. So now let's plug everything in. The arc is 120. So 120 over 360 is, I'm looking for the length, 2 pi, the radius is 4. So cross multiply 360L equals, now I've got 120 times 2 times 4, not 40. So this one is going to be let's see, 120 times 2 times 4, so 120 times 2 times 4, 960. So we've got 960 pi. Divide both sides by 360. And I get that L is 960 divided by 360. Math, enter, 8 over 3 pi. 8 over 3, and we still have pi because we haven't done anything with it. So there's your answer. All right, number 4. Okay, so we're going to look at this circle over here. So we have arc BA. So what's the measure? The measure is 60 degrees. Okay, remember when they're asking you about the measure, they're wanting degrees. Well, if this is 60 degrees, then what is the remainder? Well, if there's 360 degrees in the whole thing and you subtract 60, then you get 300 degrees for the other arc. So now let's find the length of the smaller, and then we'll find the length of the larger. So the smaller one is 60 over 360 is the length over 2 pi r, which is 8. So we've got 360L equals, now we've got 60 times 2 times 18. So 60 times 2 times 8, I don't know why I said 18, times 8 is 960. So this is 960 pi. Divide by 360. And I get that the length of the smaller is 8 over 3 pi. So if I go through and do that, 960 divided by 360, math, enter. Okay, so this one is 8 over 3 pi. And this is centimeters. Okay, now the length of the larger one is going to be 300 over 360. So whichever one you're looking for, you have to use that arc measure. And we're going to use the same 2 pi 8. Let's multiply. 360L is, now I've got 300, and this is 16 times 16, 4,800 pi. Divide by 360. So length is 40 over 3 pi. So this one is 40 over 3 pi centimeters. All right, part 2, the area of a sector. A sector is nothing more than a slice, like a slice of pizza. So if you have a circle, and here's the center, that would be a slice of pizza. Well, today it's no longer a slice, it's a sector. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the area of a slice of pizza. And you're going to use almost the exact same formula that you did for arc length. The only thing that's going to change is this formula here. Instead of circumference like we were using, you're going to use area because we're looking for area. So technically you're going to have the arc over 360 is the area over pi r squared. Okay, so looking at number 5, this arc is 90. So using our same formula, 90 over 360 is the area of the slice over pi r squared. So 360 times area, 360a. And now this time I've got 90 times 8 squared. So 90 times 8 squared, 5760 pi. Divide by 360. Same thing. Divided by 360, and I get 16 pi. So 16 pi. So my answer is 16 pi centimeters squared. Okay, same thing. 60 over 360 is the area of the slice over pi r squared. Cross multiply. 360a equals, now I've got 60 times 36, 2160 pi. Divide by 360. And we get that the area is 6 pi. So 6 pi centimeters squared. Do not forget the pi. You have not done anything with the pi. The pi is still there, so the pi has to be included. Okay, last one. So now we've got 120 over 360 equals the area of the slice over pi r squared. 360 times a is 360a. Now I've got 120 times 64, which is 7680 pi. Again, divide by 360. So the area is, get a decimal, so math enter, 64 over 3 pi. So the answer is 64 over 3 pi centimeters squared. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take the sector area and arc length student activity, and you're going to go to number 8, because sometimes I will give you everything and I will ask you for the radius, which means I expect you to work backwards. So since we're talking about the length of the arc, then I'm going to use the formula that uses the arc over 360 is the length of the arc divided by 2 pi r. So if you're talking about length, you have to talk about circumference. So the length of arc ABC is 45 pi. So this piece right here is going to be replaced with 45 pi. And since I'm looking for the radius, then 2 pi r stays in the bottom. Okay, and 360 obviously is given. Now I just need to find the measure of the arc. So they're wanting me to look at arc A, B, C. So they're wanting the bigger arc. Well, remember the whole thing has 360 degrees. So if the whole thing has 360 degrees, what's this whole arc right there? All right, so I know there's 360 degrees. They're giving me 100. So that means the bigger arc is 260. So 260 goes here. So this arc is 260. So now I'm just going to cross multiply. First thing, if you'll remember from the warm-up, if you have the same thing in the top and the bottom, it cancels. So the pi's are going to cancel. So now I'm just going to go, okay, I've got 260 times 2. So 260 times 2r is 520r. And now I've got 360 times 45. And if you wanted to reduce before you started, you're more than welcome to reduce first. Now divide both sides by 520. And we get that the radius is 31.2, and it's in inches. So 31.2 inches. Okay, so that is the radius. Okay, so make sure you're able to work backwards using the exact same formula. All right, and then look at number 9. They're giving you the shaded area, so they're telling you that the area is 24 pi. They're telling you your radius is 12, and this time they're asking you to find this angle. Well, remember that angle is the same as this arc. So we have to use the arc over 360 equals the area over pi r squared. And I know I had to use pi r squared because we're talking about area. So the arc is x. 360 stays the same, it's given. A is your area, that's 24 pi, over the radius, which is 12, so this is pi 12 squared. So I'm going to cross multiply. First of all, the pi in the top and the bottom cancels out, so that helps me get rid of something. So 12 squared is 144. 144 times x is 144x. So now I've got to go this way. 360 times 24 is 8640. And then divide by 144. So I found out that x is 60, which is in degrees because it's an angle. So x is 60 degrees. All right, so you need to complete the sector area and arc length classwork student activity. If you finish, please turn it into the box. If you do not, take it home and bring it back with you next class. Have a great day.